Good evening, guys. I'm just gonna give a couple minutes to allow a couple people to pop in here. How is everybody's Thursday? Not a problem, Roxanne.
There we are.
Hello.
Hey, well,
Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.
happy Thursday. I am just glad to be alive this week.
I hear you there. I hear you there. It's been a week.
Yeah, I had Tuesday night. It was Monday night into Tuesday morning. I had just become like violently sick, and I really thought I had food poisoning. And my daughter's, a nurse now, and I call her and I'm like, "Come over and check me out. I'm having dizzy spells. I don't know what's going on." This is before I started getting violently sick. And she came over and she was like, "Well, you're a little elevated speed, your rate of speed or whatever is kind of high, but if you're not feeling good, that's normal." And all of a sudden, I just started getting violently sick, ended up in the
Mm.
hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So um, I've been dealing with that, trying to still push through and work. And it's been a week, but I feel better today. And like I said, I'm just one of those moments you're just glad to be alive. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, it's definitely been a week of pushing through. I know. I still have yet to have a chance to either even reach out to you and Chris to update you guys on some stuff that's going on.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Some weeks
Yeah.
are like that. It's the business. What
No,
about
it is. And it's one of those weeks. I guess I'll update you guys here. It's one of those things that I've come to peace with of I know a lot of people don't like sharing when things happen within their lives and especially in their businesses.
yeah,
That really throw a wrench in everything and what it truly takes to get through a lot of situations, especially as a leader, as somebody who has teams, people that they work with, they still have family, they still have responsibilities. You know that we all met on Tuesday and it was all right. The week was going fine. Wednesday morning, I woke up and Haley yelled out as I was getting Jasper ready for school that I had to check my messages. So I thought, she was trying to tell me that I needed to get in there and start responding to people because we've been going crazy with reaching out to everybody and seeing where they're at. So I told her it can hold off. Like I'm trying to get him ready for school, trying to get out the door. And she's like, no, it's bad. And still was like, what do you mean it's bad? So when I went to check my phone, I had a bunch of messages and a bunch of missed calls from 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'd found out that my uncle had passed away at
oh,
1 o'clock
I'm so
Oh
sorry.
my
in the
God.
morning between Tuesday and Wednesday. And the reason that I bring it up publicly and talk about it is because again, as a as a business owner, as a leader, as everybody who's trying to build their business models, nobody truly does talk about the dark sides of this when things really start getting going. And most of the time, you see people build themselves up and then they disappear. Like everything crumbles and crashes around them because of decisions that they've made when something big has happened, whether it be, maybe somebody has 30 properties and they have a couple of them that took a dip in income coming in. So the decisions they made were to go quiet and they're not responding to lenders, they're not responding to their team, they're not doing anything to cause things to move forward. I know this is a personal situation and it's not anything that's towards co-living or towards business, but it is one and in the same. And who you are across the board and the new versions of you guys that you guys are becoming as you're building this, it does have to be across the board. And the entire day yesterday, it wasn't like everything can just shut down. I was in the middle of getting Jasper ready for school, had to get out the door. I had calls that were lined up throughout the entire day, speaking to wholesalers, speaking to potential lenders, you name it. And none of that was able to stop. But I also had an entire family and individuals that I haven't spoken to in years, and a whole plethora of phone calls that I had to make on that side of things. Needless to say, yesterday I didn't even get to process any of this. It's still surreal. It hasn't even been 48 full hours. It's still surreal. But again, at the end of the day, somebody's got to show up for all of those people. Somebody's got to show up for the family. Somebody's got to show up in the business. Somebody's got to make sure that the responsibilities are taken care of, things are pushing forward, no matter how hard things get.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's my TED Talk. 40 different, there's 40 different rabbit holes and things that I can go down.
Mhm.
Didn't get much sleep last night, but I did a lot of reflecting of the last 24 hours. And there are so many things that I was reminded of, so many lessons, so many things that I didn't even realize about myself at this point, that maybe I'll start putting some stuff out over a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it may not be co-living specific, but it is business specific. And
Yeah.
most of the people on this Zoom are entrepreneurs of some sort, whether they are already, in the business or trying to get in the business. Um, and you're right, doesn't really matter what happens to you in any given day. Business has to continue. But that is one of the advantages of having partners. Um, if something needs to be done in the business and you have something personal, you do have that support from other partners that can jump in and take calls or Zooms and do those kind of things. So, I just want to say that, whether you're doing this alone or you're in a partnership, there are advantages to that. Of course, we can go down another rabbit hole about how to choose your partner well and
Yes.
which ones to stay away from.
Well,
That's definitely could be a whole Zoom topic on itself. But
oh, 100%. And that's actually one of those things that from the perspective of a lot of the reflection that I was doing is knowing and understanding the people that are around you. And I think that was the one of the biggest things that allowed me to continue to push yesterday, was knowing how to approach each specific individual in a certain way by truly understanding who they are, how they are. Um, and that's not just personal, that's business as well. When you guys start getting to the points where you do have, even your first asset's going to come with a team.
yeah,
I believe we've talked about it a couple of Zooms ago. Pad split, your contractors, your lenders, the wholesaler, all of them, they're all part of your team.
yeah,
And what can make that effective is understanding each one of those individuals and how to actually deal with those situations that come up pertaining to each individual. But again, that's a whole nother rabbit hole and maybe a whole Zoom that we can do, Angel.
yeah. We can definitely expand on so many things that we've talked about already, and it's good for everybody to know. And some people have, like on the Zoom, I know, are already in business and have probably dealt with various aspects of that. But uh, having, like, number one priority is having the right team in place. So,
Yeah.
kind of back to what you were saying, it's imperative to have a very thorough understanding of who you have surrounding you, because
Yeah.
shit will get bad, guys, at some point. Every day is not sunshine and rainbows. And when things do go wrong, you've got to have people around you that can collaborate and push through and get things to the finish line. Like Jay-Z said, most of the time we experience people who go dark, they pull away, they don't know how to move through obstacles, so they turn from them. And
Mhm.
that's to me, one of the greatest things that you look for in partnership is how people handle obstacles and solutions. So again, we could definitely go down a rabbit hole with
No,
that one.
100%. Even
But
with that topic
look,
too.
I see Zoom user has their hand up, and I don't. Is that? Look, I'm trying to see without my glasses. Who is that?
You can go ahead and unmute, my man.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey,
Doing wonderful, man. How are you?
I just dropped my receipt in the grass, carrying my groceries in, and trying to freaking make it up the stairs. Yeah, other than that, doing pretty good. I just got off work not too long ago, and yeah, condolences goes out to you and your family, man. I'm sorry for your loss, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that's like I just mentioned, that's one of the things that is part of being part of a team, having that backbone. Somebody that can pick up the weight when you drop off, and me just being new to everything that I'm learning from y'all, along with a lot of other things. I had to delete y'all off of my friends as Facebook friends because what I caught myself doing, right, was taking, I'll get to the door. I was taking all y'all's perspectives and trying to see through y'all's eyes on pretty much how y'all utilize strategies that y'all implement uh within y'all's operation, right? So I was like, you know what, I'm taking on too many perspectives. I don't have my own because I haven't done my
yeah,
reps
yeah,
in all areas. So I'm like, let me just fall back for a minute and do it Quentin's way.
there you go.
Like add everything that y'all trying to teach me or that I'm learning from y'all on Facebook, and then just learn how to utilize it and see it through Quentin's eyes instead of everybody else's perspective. So I had to like fall back and just learn it that way, right? Which is the way I learn,
Mm-hmm.
faster. Oh, man.
Oh,
But
see, I'm a,
that's what I wanted to get across. 'Cause I know it's probably like some misunderstanding because I didn't speak on it. I don't know if y'all even realize it because I deal with a lot of people, but it was like so a lot of people had to delete just to like get familiar with what I got going on, more familiar with what I got going on, along with everything that I'm learning from all these mentorships. I'm in about 7 total, to be exact.
wow.
Yeah. So that's just yeah, I just wanted to put that out there and just speaking of knowing each other, right? So
Mm-hmm.
just in case y'all did realize that all the people that y'all deal with, that's like what's going on with Quentin.
Quentin, I do just want to add to that, and I'd say this from a personal perspective and experience. Yes, I think it's number one priority to get your own perspective in check, understand where you stand on things, what your business needs to look like, how you choose to run it, all those things. But don't don't dismiss the opportunity for people who have been through not just the good, but the really, really bad to open that perspective up a little bit. So,
Yeah,
just encourage you to, yes, you absolutely need to develop that yourself, but also, especially when you come to difficult things, make sure that that's what we're here for. Run those things past, be open to that other perspective. I don't know how many times, like Chris and I view things really differently. And sometimes I'll be very stuck in my head about the way that I see something. And then Chris will open up the conversation about it. And by the end of it, I'm like, well, shoot, I didn't even see it that way, you know, because he brings that a different type of experience and a different type of perspective. And sometimes you need that. So, although it's super important to develop your own, make sure you keep your perspective open. You don't necessarily need 20 people's perspective, but somewhere in that 7 mentorships that you're in, find that one that you connect with. Find the one that you maybe feel most aligned with. Maybe their perspective does mirror yours in a lot of ways. And let them help you build on that and continue to give you those outside perspectives.
right. And a lot of these mentorships I'm just basically leveraging because eventually I want to open up shops. You know what I mean? And put myself in a position to where it's just passive. Come in, look over my tattoo artist's, shoulders and check the word. All right, cool. Yep, he's official. I can hire him. Basically it's gonna be an established business. So everything that I got my hands in, I'm eventually have to take them off. But for right now, I got to wear all the hats. Is what I'm doing. I'm forcing myself to. So it's yeah. But speaking of y'all's entrepreneur perspectives, right? The things that I see on right side of Facebook, it's so good, right? Especially having James, right?
Mhm.
As one of my previous Facebook friends, I get locked on the information that he lays out, and it's like, and I catch myself taking it on. But it is a balance too, right?
Yes.
Like it's a to know how much to take on and when to let go and when to implement. And it's never a perfect balance, is what I'm learning. It's just like a wave, you just got to ride, take in, and just learn to like, okay, eat, but not until you're full, just enough to feel it, and then fall back and keep your energy up because it can be overwhelming. Just taking on all these
Startups are the
things.
most challenging thing you'll ever do in your life,
Yeah.
period. I will argue that anybody down on that. A startup is the hardest thing you will ever do in your life, but it's also the most rewarding. Just make sure as you're building that business, you're also building your system along with it. That is probably the number one mistake I think any new entrepreneur can make. So when you're making those decisions, you do decide on that perspective, that business model, the way that things are going to be. Make sure that you're documenting all of that. So when you're ready, and then there come a time when you're ready to hand it off to somebody because you're at that point where I can't do this anymore all by myself. You have something to actually hand off. You're not going to have to babysit that person every day because you never wrote down how to take in, booth rent for the week and how it gets dispersed and all those things. So make sure that, as you're building, you're also documenting. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, I got a book for each one of them too, right? I can go forever through all of them, but yeah, I got books for each one. I take on information in, so yeah, I thank you for that. For that
Yeah.
breakdown.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you that, you feel us worthy to follow. Seven, that's a pretty short number with all the coaches out there. So, I feel blessed. Thank you.
yeah. I come in and pay my respects, and just try to add value because I know best way to learn is to teach.
That's
So
right.
that's the way I implement information in my subconscious until it flows naturally, and then I don't have to think about it no more. It's like going in the kitchen, cutting on a light, and you
Mm-hmm.
just do it. So that's where I'm at. I appreciate it. Thank you, Angel.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate you, Quentin.
All right. Cody, I do see that you are here this week. How are you? Ready to do some follow up?
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I actually had somewhat of like, I wouldn't say a stall out, but I just think that the way that my brain works is when I work super, super hard on stuff. Like I go all in and I work so hard, right? Then what happens is I have almost a couple days or like a day where I just like freeze. Like my brain almost like shuts down. So it almost like needs to like rest and like reset again or something. So I had a couple days of that where I just like had to step away from it all for a minute, which I'm sure like over time, right? That's something I'm gonna have to learn, like a balance or kind of how I with years of like experience, I'll figure out like, okay, this is what this day will bring and this day. But yeah, right now that's not happening. So it's like full force shut down, full force shut down. Oh, sorry. Um, so I had a couple days that I had to just pause. Just really like went back and re-looked at the numbers again. It almost made me like start to second guess it, which this is where I said like I'm so indecisive. I just constantly am like second guessing myself on everything that I do, and I start to like see the flaws of it.
Mhm.
So the more I started running the numbers, I'm like, okay, maybe this won't make sense. Then I was like, okay, maybe, nope, maybe that isn't enough. Well, what if no one rents the rooms? And then like I just start letting all this like self-doubt come in and I was like, what am I doing? And then it just like, because I think the due diligence was getting like closer and closer to the end. And it
Yeah.
just like, I started to like panic. And then, yeah. So today was actually, today is the day, last day of due diligence. She extended it 2 more days for me. We put out, I put out like an advertisement, sort of like advertising the deal and the opportunity to partner because I need to bring in a capital partner for this. I reached out to a couple of the investors that I was going to, that I just didn't. I waited till the last day possible. Why? I don't know, because this is what I seem to always do. So that's something I need to work on too. Like just my taking initiative with like, I always like put things off to like kind of, I mean, I know it's my ADHD, but it's what I do. So I'm working on it. Um, so yes, today is the day I reached out to everybody. I've got the numbers. I'm pretty sure they work. I've got the floor plan. I've got like who's going to manage it. I've got everything. So if somebody wants to invest with me, I'll move forward. But if not, then I'll just drop it. And I'll just use that as like a temp, like I learned from it and
Yeah.
I'll just go on to the next one or something.
Did you happen to see my response in school?
Oh, I did not.
What you
Sorry,
sent
I forgot
over?
about that.
Because I did have a ton of questions.
Oh, okay, sorry. I will
That's
go and look at,
okay.
I'll go in
That's
and look
okay.
at that and do it while we're listening on here.
Yeah. So, I mean, in a nutshell, the bones of the deal are really good. So at first glance, your returns look strong, right? You got like 8,000 a month in gross monthly income for 11 rooms, I think it was. And a pretty good, NOI or NOI. There are a couple of things in there that need to be addressed though, because I know you didn't have any pad split numbers in there because it's not a core market and you're not going to be using them.
Mhm.
But it also lacked PM.
PM private money?
No,
PM,
property
what's that?
management.
Oh, it has property management at 7%.
Okay, so you're not,
And that would be for, so I'm going to manage as far as the advertising, the acquiring, all the bookkeeping, yada, yada, yada. And then I left 7% for the gal that I have who's going to do my turnovers for my rooms, my, like if and she's also my realtor, so she can get me, she's like a realtor's assistant. Do you know what? She's like, she's a realtor, but she works on this team helping my actual realtor, if that makes any sense. So
Yes.
she's like I think she'd like to ideally try and get into property management. So it's nice because she's able to access the homes and give me like all my QB Casas for my flips.
Yeah.
So she's gonna do the walkthroughs, get my QB Casas, and do turnovers. And then what else am I missing from her? Because that's all that she would really need to do.
Okay. So you're going to handle, because normally like now Pad Split handles your marketing, your resident
Yes.
screening, your rent
Yes.
collection.
So I will do that.
Lease management,
Yes.
initial eviction.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll do all that.
I'm planning on doing all that.
Whew, okay.
Well, for the first couple, like I would never, yeah, for the first couple, and then I'm gonna have to outsource anything that I can do. Like the people, I want to look into the companies that I can pay to like do the marketing and stuff for me. The little things that I can start paying people
Okay.
to do, I would eventually do that once I have done it once myself and learn a little bit about it and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, and I just want you to be real clear on this because it
Okay.
makes a difference in your numbers. Pad Split isn't just a marketing platform. It's an entire operating system. So if you don't have that in place,
Mhm.
okay, you're going to spend most of your day doing these things.
Yeah.
Or
I know.
you need to decide out of those things, what is it that you could effectively do each
Yeah.
day and then budget for it. If it's marketing, you want to hand off budget for that.
Okay. Is 7% good enough or no?
That's
I don't know like what other
PM.
operators like charge for like there's one guy in Columbia who does his gosh, I'm trying to think. Paul and Harris, do you know them?
No.
She has pink hair and he's okay. So they're in South Carolina, they're in Charleston. So that's pretty close. And he is like in charge of all her marketing for their co-living properties.
Mhm.
And he seems like he might start offering a service. He's kind of hinted like maybe I should do that for people. And if he would, that's right near me. So that would be really nice to use him and kind of pay him to do that. So I've looked into maybe possibly looking into that. But if not, he has all the resources for where and what he uses. And like he's told me like there's certain ones where you get more attraction versus others in certain cities. And, you know, like some love roomies, some love zoomies, some love whatever. And so they're really, really great at self-management. And I also am in the operations group. Dave, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm in that group as well. But I don't necessarily want to pay for all, I mean, or to do that all. I'm willing to pay, is what I'm saying. So I just
Yeah.
first have to find the right people since it's not, because I've heard that even if you're on Pad Split, right? Like they, what's it called? Check background checks, but then like you still should do your own on top of theirs. Because like a lot of times like you should do the in-person meetings and stuff. So then if I'm already doing that, don't I just want to do that myself?
No, I mean, I think it's just a difference of opinion.
Okay.
We do an additional after Pad Split approves them, you know, based on their income, ID, all those things, history.
Mhm.
Then our PM will do an additional phone call, but that phone call is more about making sure they're a good fit for the community.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. So no, it's kind of two different things going on there.
Okay.
The initial, whether Pad Split's doing it or you using, you know, Tenant Screen or whatever you want to,
Yep.
whatever software you decide to use, that's still two different things. You're still going to want to make sure that you're going to have 11 rooms. That's massive.
Mm-hmm.
You're building a hell of a community there, Cody. This is not a 6-room Pad Split. It's like 2.5 what the average is.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. And yes, you will, whether you do it or it's something you want your PM who's boots on the ground face to face, giving these people, you know, a walkthrough of the place, that may be something you put in her court, because you do have an advantage there versus people that are doing it virtually, that she is actually meeting with them, walking them through the house. That is really the perfect time for her to have those conversations with them.
Yeah.
You know, what do you do? Do you work days? Do you work nights? You know, what do you like to do outside of work? All those
Yeah.
things, so she can start to understand the community. You're building a community. Somebody's going to need to understand how that community is operating.
Yeah.
And it sounds like she's probably the best fit for that. So
Yeah.
that's probably a duty I would incorporate into hers, but it does need to be done because you are building a huge community and you need to make sure things are ebbing and flowing
I
correctly.
want to break down all of the different, I'm going to break it all down and kind of go into like, you know, your guys' back logs and like operations to figure out exactly who's going to do what once I actually 100% got through this part of it, to figure that out. Because yeah, if there are things she can do, or I was going to see even about if she, or like I could hire a virtual assistant, something to do maybe the like paperwork stuff with like the background checks, sending things to make sure they're signed, whatever. But anything that I can do, and if I can get the systems in place where, because I am home all day and this is what I'm doing full time. So I want to utilize that, and I want to save money where I can if I'm just going to be whatever. So maybe it's, you know, 4 or 5 hours of the morning is strictly something. If it's advertising, if it's whatever part of it I have, maybe my bookkeeping or just whatever. So I'm looking into like what part of it, but I mean, 7%, I don't know. Should I put more in there to make sure that like she's covered or?
Here's my suggestion.
Okay.
Okay, so operators, I'll preface with this. Operators run successful co-living properties outside of Pad Split markets every day. That's known front page news.
Uh-huh.
But you need to go into this with your eyes wide open. And I kind of, in my message to you, I explain this explicitly because you're not there. You're not using Pad Split. You really need a PM who has done this before. not necessarily one who's willing to figure it out as they go with your money on the line. Or if you do want to go that route, you need to sock some money away because there's mistakes that are going to be had.
Okay.
I promise you that.
Okay.
So yes, I also, just so you know, in that message, I actually broke down everything that Pad Split does and
Okay.
what you need, what either you need to do or what that PM needs to do. So that's already there for you. If you have questions, let me know.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll move past the PM. One of the other issues was your reserves are too light for 11 rooms.
Reserves.
Yeah. So
Where even is that? I'm just getting familiar with the first page on the calculator. Was it way over? Because I don't know about
yeah,
those.
yeah, it's somewhere in there, but basically it was really off. It's light for 11 rooms. Like a good thing to budget is generally $100 a room. You've got 11 rooms
$100 a room for what? Reserves. What do you
for
mean?
reserves. And
What's that
that's,
mean? Like,
well, what if things come up? What if, the toilet breaks, the plumbing needs to be done? You've got lock replacements that happen.
like improvements then? Would that be like,
Yes. And
so
we'll definitely talk a little bit more. Your calculator, you've got to itemize out things.
yeah, I would like a different one.
Yeah, I think you were kind of lump summing some things, so that's why I wanted to be clear in the message that I
Mhm.
sent back to you. These are the things that you need. So,
Okay.
lock replacement, refrigerator issues, cleaning issues. If you budget about $100 per room
Per room
for reserves,
a month?
mm-hmm,
Okay. I'll go and look at all your things that you had in there when I'm listening to this.
now sometimes you can get away with like 50, but here's the thing, you don't have to do that. Like your first year, I would not sock away $100 per room, per asset, all those things into reserves. I would just borrow for that. Okay, go ahead and stock up that reserve fund so that you go into the year new, and then you can reduce that over that first year because you've already got a bulk amount in your reserves, maybe $5,000, whatever that looks like for this budget, and then just put away $100 or $250 a month somewhere in there. I'd say $250 for you because you've got 11 rooms, but that would be the way that you should probably go on that. Okay.
Okay.
And then I also just mentioned the 30K that you had in the CapEx. You just need to itemize that before it's done. I know you did say it was a placeholder, and that's fine.
Oh, yes, I
But
have.
before you commit to this deal or ask somebody else to do it, that bucket needs to be real line
Yes.
items. Okay.
Yes, I think when I sent that to you, it was, yeah, I've went through
Okay.
now and kind of broke it up more and
Mhm.
went in because I think we hadn't gotten my estimate back, I don't think, if you recall. So I think
Yeah.
now it came back so I can.
Yeah. And then on that part, you also just need to clean up. You've got 20,000 listed for HVAC mini splits, and then another 17,000 listed in the scope for new duct system. So I didn't know if those were one and the same, if you're budgeting for
Yeah,
both.
I wonder if I'll
If it's
send,
bo-
yeah,
I
there's
was
a,
gonna say, if it's both, just make sure that you're having that conversation with the contractor before you lock in that renovation budget, because that's a lot.
yeah, to me, this is the deal with this one. The only way, okay, the problem with this one was the renovation ended up being, it's almost all like the capital, all the big things, okay?
Mhm.
So it's everything major, but it'll be like a brand new shell, basically.
Yeah.
But with that, there's not enough room to cash out any of it anytime soon. It's like a long-term play, like a long-term investment for the investor, like someone who just wants to have their money invested, get a good return, use the tax benefits, whatever. So it's going to be like a partnership, like an equity partnership more, which I'm okay with because all I really care about is the cash flow.
Yeah.
So they're going to
Okay.
have to be okay with that. And
And we'll get to that a little bit further down in the message. I did kind of touch on that. But another item that you really need to take a look at is your water and electricity. Totally underestimated. You've got $200 a month for water, sewer, $275 for electricity, and you have 11 potential tenants.
I wish it was that.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and you know, so they're doing
How
their
do
own
how do
laundry.
I figure it out?
Okay, so I would say 350 to 450 for water and 450 to 650 for electric.
450 for
Okay.
water.
And because this is a new property, because it's new, you're new to co-living, things like that, this is just for anybody listening. If it's your first one and you're buying your first asset, just ask the seller for their most recent utility bill when they were living there.
Yeah.
If it was a 4-person household and it was $300 a month, multiply it by 3.
Okay.
That'll at least give you a baseline.
Well, I guess I didn't do that. I think
Yeah.
I chat GPT the address and then I used that, whatever they told me,
Mhm.
divided it or by the average or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't, because I do still have 275 for electricity, so I don't, maybe I, no.
And that's
Okay,
one
so
of
you,
those things I do tell people, Cody, ChatGPT is good for so many things, but they can't give you a human aspect of anything. They can run general numbers. But you know, what if you have 6 of those 11 tenants who shower twice a day, who are clean freaks and they're cleaning everything, who do their laundry every day, who those are kind of learned things over time and for each community. So the numbers that I'm providing you right now are our numbers,
yeah,
you know, averages of our numbers for our higher end assets that have, you know, maybe 9 rooms or 10 or 11 rooms versus
yeah.
6 rooms. Okay. So those are real numbers, real kind of price points that you can go on. Okay.
Okay.
And
So
then the
you think,
next,
okay, 350 electricity. What about for
350 to
water?
450.
350,
You know, if
450.
you want to be conservative, go to 450. On the electricity, if you want to be conservative, go to 650. And that's really not that conservative. We have one of ours in, well, both of ours actually, right by each other in Jacksonville. Chris, what are they, about $600 to $700 a month?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
In
And
electricity
that's electric and water.
and
Okay.
water.
But those are also 7 room.
Okay.
You've
And
got
it has
4
like,
more rooms there.
does having like a brand new system help at all or anything? Like,
You know, anything newer is always going to be a little more
okay.
energy conservative. But I just want to point out that's in Florida. You know, they have the air running all the time, but you're a little higher up. There's
Yeah.
going to be winter months.
Yeah.
You're going to be running heat, which is gas, which is so much higher. So I just wanted you to kind of think through that just a little bit more and bump up those numbers as well. Okay.
Unless they're
Okay.
using space heaters as well, because if they're using space heaters through the winter, it will jack those electric rates up as
Not
well.
letting them do that then. They can
Please
just
do
wear
not let
a
them use
sweatshirt.
space heaters. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had an issue with that before.
No, they can just, yeah. And I'm putting a lockbox on the thermostat
Mhm.
too.
Yes, absolutely. Amen.
And then one of the girls in that other group, is Yvonne in here yet? I sent her the link to join this group. I wonder if she's joined yet. Maybe I'll remind her again in my other co-living. She says, she's like, yeah, then I quit putting desks in my room because I don't want them sitting there doing stuff on their computer all day. They're going to waste my electricity. She's like so funny and smart. She's like, nope, I don't let them. I don't let them plug in a lamp. They don't need that.
Too funny.
Okay, well then I guess I'll raise all these.
Yes, so raise all those. And then I did have a question. Your invoice authorization you had listed at 35,000. Is that part of your total cash invested alongside private money loan payment of 1528? Can you kind of clarify that?
So
Or if that
invoice
1528 is
authorization.
already captured in your monthly expenses? If it is, you're fine.
Yeah, it was already, the invoice
Okay.
authorization is part of your overall loan, and the payment is already in your TPMI.
Perfect. Perfect. I just want to make sure it wasn't sitting outside your cash flow calculation somewhere because, you know, then it wouldn't be accounted for correctly. And then on your refi question, if your goal is to cash out refi as quickly as possible,
But I
that is
can't.
where, yeah, that is where that structure is going to matter. The challenge is you're in a non-pad split market. Your lender may underwrite on market rent for a single family or small multifamily, not your actual co-living room rental,
Yeah.
because they don't have anything to reference,
Right.
which can affect your refi, the amount of your refi.
Yeah.
So just suggest you talk to your lender before you finalize that structure, not after.
No, I
Right?
have a thing I need to fill out, right? Like sent to me now. And she wants me to send it off to get it sent back. Where they have,
Yeah.
he has
And
some different.
specifically ask, what income are you going to count
Mhm.
and how do you calculate your ARV? And that conversation is going to tell you exactly how to structure, cash in versus private money split.
I mean, I know. It just seems like, well, I know it is such like a good opportunity for like the cash flow is so great, but I just like with all the nitty gritty, like I just don't know if it's gonna be done in that short amount of time. Because the one thing that I screwed up on with the offer and things that I made was she was used to me because we send so many or whatever. She sent out like my normal typical 7 day due diligence and like
Mhm.
2 week closing, which obviously is not. I need more days due diligence and I need more days, way more for closing. So that was
Yeah.
something that we learned as well. So we did go back and like have to change it with them, but I mean, I hate to just keep
Yeah.
going back and back. So yeah, we might just have to walk away from this one. And I just learned how to really look into it right. And I don't know. We'll see.
Well, this is definitely going to be a learning experience if you do decide to take it on. I mean, you are thinking like an operator, like the shared bath strategy. Love that. I love that you thought about this as a tester approach, because that's exactly what it is. I mean, you can go in and learn what the market is in that area for that property specifically, and then optimize the next one.
Yeah.
So you are taking a risk. For many reasons, you're taking a risk, but I think the deal has real merit. I think there's definitely opportunity there. Now, one suggestion that I could also make with you is either partnering with someone who can operate it, or there are a lot of PMs out there right now who do have co-living experience. Look for those. Someone
Not
who's
where
willing
I am
to.
though.
I'm
Not where
sorry.
I am. Not where
Oh.
this is another way to phrase it. I
Well,
did look.
PM doesn't have to be local. Sorry, private money lender. I wasn't talking about the property
Oh,
money lender.
I thought I was like,
Yeah.
wait, there isn't any. Okay. No, yeah, I don't.
So,
That ideally, yeah, like I wish there was a way. Yeah.
yeah.
I wish there was a way that somebody that did know what they were doing would partner with me on it. Um, which again, if I would have had more time, I probably would have went out there and done a little more digging, but it was tough to get everybody moving. Like let's like, the contractor to look at it from the different angles and I had to kind of build that team to this type of a strategy versus the other strategy and kind of it was just took a little time to get everybody in place.
And that's a great point for everyone. If you are currently determining your market and just kind of jumping in there, you have to start building that ecosystem from the get-go. You have to.
Yeah.
Because you might find a deal really fast. And if
Yeah.
you don't have all the pieces in place, you don't have the right contractor, the right property management, things will start to go really fast. And what do we do when we do things too fast?
You force things, make mistakes, push
So,
things. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, you've got to think about that way. I mean, this deal really does have a lot of merit. The density, the pricing, the CapEx, they're all solid. But you've got some corrections to make there on the analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you really need to consider a more experienced property manager because of the unique position that you're in.
That might be tough because I don't
Yeah.
know of any there. Yeah. Okay.
So, but you're doing the work. You're doing a great job. Just what you sent was very reflective that you're already thinking like an operator. So be proud of yourself. Those were momentous steps. You've just got some things to tweak. So
Yeah.
you're doing okay. You
Okay.
keep the questions coming. That's what we're here for. me, Chris, Jay-Z, somebody will jump in there and help you and you know, answer your question and get you to the next step.
Okay.
Is there anything that you didn't put in the original message that is still kind of hanging out there? You need some
No, I'd
guidance
have to
on
go
that?
back and look. Yeah. I think I
Okay.
dialed it in a lot more, so I can shoot you
Good.
that. But I even just, yeah, I'll change those couple things. I'll adjust the budget, but I just don't know. I don't know. I don't
Quit
know what I
second
don't.
guessing yourself, Cody. You are
Yeah, I
doing a
don't know.
great job. You are
I guess I
absolutely
don't
doing
want
a
to
great job.
sound, thank you. I want to like, I wish that I knew how to answer the questions that I'm being like asked better by the like investors that are curious, if that makes sense. So when he says like, you know, like, okay, well, what are you going to do here? Are you going to do here? And I did in some of the trainings this week learn to just kind of not fake it till you make it, but just like
Yeah.
sound sure of yourself, you know, like when they or and also just like they don't need to know some things. Just be like, yep, sure, that'll be handled. When it's like little things that,
All of that comes
yeah,
from your confidence in your numbers. So
yeah,
first and foremost, we've got to get you a better calculator
yeah,
that
I
accounts
would like
for
that.
all itemized line items that, because there is nothing, number wise, there is nothing that a private money lender can ask you that should ever make you waver
Yeah,
if your
that's
numbers
true.
are good.
That's what I don't
Now
think I like.
there
I
could be
don't
other
like that.
questions like, you know, how do you handle obstacles and resolutions, things like that, because you're new. Those might be a little challenging, but your numbers before you ever move forward with an asset, those have to be solidified. You have to be confident because the moment you say yes and put that under contract, you're going to be answering to a lot of people what those numbers mean. And
Yeah.
that's where the confidence has to live.
And I don't like, I mean, half of this in here, I don't even know what it is. So then that's making me, you know, like I don't know the answer. So I don't like any of that.
Yeah.
Like I want a calculator that like I understand
Yes.
myself
Yeah.
so that I can answer. That I think is like, you're right, like most of it. Oh, take that
Yeah.
out, please. Put it in the fridge. Yeah, you're right. I need a better calculator because this is stressing me out because I just like didn't even know what some of this meant myself. And like I
Well,
don't have an HOA. Why is that in there? Like there's not an
yeah.
HOA. I don't know.
Yeah, we will get you
Okay.
there. We will definitely
Okay.
get you there because that again, that's where the confidence lives.
Yes, I know.
You
That's
can't
true.
sell
I want
that
to have
dream.
answers.
Yes, you can't sell
I
that
like
dream
that.
if you have no confidence
I
in
like
it.
having
So
answers to everything that people ask. So I want to do that. Yeah.
perfect. Okay. Well,
Okay.
we'll work on that this week and
Okay.
next week we'll do a follow-up. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Keep tracking. Keep asking. We'll get you there. I appreciate her so much. Just willing to get on here and walk through everything. Some people don't always say, you know, it's hard to admit you don't know something sometimes. And people like her get me all excited. You're like, no, just, I don't know anything. Just show me everything. Even if they do, a lot of times it's just the confidence piece. I love that she's so open to learning and newer perspectives. That's
Oh,
phenomenal.
the vulnerability.
Yes, people like her go
That
far. And she
100%.
is truly, guys, what she sent over the floor plan, the numbers. She is already thinking like an operator. It's phenomenal. She's catching on to all the little nuances and she's just progressing fantastically. I don't even think that's a word. It's phenomenal. I'm not sure what else to say about that, but she is taking it all in and, you know, really digesting it and starting to think like an operator. You know, can I do A because of B? Can I do B because of C? She's connecting the dots. She's starting to understand the full picture because let's be honest, running co-living assets is different than STRs, MTRs, LTRs, all those things. It's different. There's so many more tentacles and so many more moving parts. And she's starting to connect that and it's just beautiful to see. I love that. All right. Did we have any other questions hanging out there right now? Trying to get back over to the chat. I know we're coming at the top of the hour, so if you've got questions, let's go ahead and drop those now. Don't want to leave anybody hanging. We want to make sure you guys get everything you receive. While we're waiting for anyone to contemplate raising their hand, I just want to remind everyone, thank you for your patience. I don't know how many of you have been in the school community. If you're not in there, get in there. That's where all the resources live. That's where Chris, Jay-Z, and I jump in and answer your questions, help you through obstacles. Let's, over this next week, kind of back to what I was saying, I'm sorry, my mind kind of went sideways there. We are changing things around in school, so please excuse our mess. I'm not sure how much of it you guys can see on your end as we open things up, but thank you for your patience. There are some amazing things coming up, and we can't wait to share those with you. But if you're not in there, we can't share them, right? So get in there. It's free to get in school. There's no cost to get in there. That is where our sales and acquisition program lives. It is one of 3 parts, the Find It, Fund It, Grow It program. It's absolutely free. If you're out there and you're looking for your first co-living property, or you've really never been taught how to find a market, to underwrite things, that's where you need to be. And that's all free to you guys. Those are things that build a solid foundation, just like Cody. Like that's your learning spot. That's how you pick those things, and you learn to do them right, so that when you do go to raise money, or you do go to approach your lender, you have that confidence. You know those numbers in and out. You know your market's solid. You have that confidence to raise the funds in one way or another that you need to move on to getting your asset acquired and live. So again, guys, if you're not in the school community, hop in there. All those things are for you, and we have so much more coming, and we'll be sharing that with you guys next week. And we're just really excited about it. So look forward to seeing how many of you guys actually get in there, and we'll start to communicate over the next week.
I'm really excited about it. I was in there earlier reviewing some of the additional changes that were made for what's coming for you guys, and holy cow. Holy cow. Pardon my French. No, I'm just kidding.
No worries.
We got Quentin with his hand up again. What's going on, man?
Speaking of school, how to get access to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I go about that?
Let's see. We'll drop it in the chat. All you got to do is click the link to get in there.
Okay, thank you.
You're on your phone, so I can also text it over to you as well, Quentin.
Either way, get in there. Get in there.
Yeah.
That's where all the goodies are. All right, guys. If nobody else has any questions, we are at the top of the hour. You guys finish out the week strong. Again, if you have any questions between now and next week's Zoom, school community is where you need to be. Pose those questions. Chris, Jay-Z, and I will definitely get those answers out to you.
I think Quentin might have had one more.
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say you could text it to me. I muted myself and didn't realize I couldn't unmute it once I muted. But yeah, that's all I was gonna say. I appreciate it, James. Thanks, bro.
No problem, man. Wing Tech, not sure exactly what your name is, but if you want to go ahead and reach out to me, myself, Chris, or Angel on Messenger, and we can be sure to get that link to you as well.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Appreciate it, bro.
All right, guys, you all have a great rest of the week, and we will see you next week.
All right. Oh, Benita, we'll make sure that call goes out. Absolutely. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
All right, guys, have a good night.